You know what I was thinking? Let me pull this up right here. This other story. Would you give up having children to save the planet? Meet the couples who have.
Wow.
Okay, well, I was thinking it's really funny that the people who believe the world is overpopulated are the same people who believe that you should sterilize your kids. You should not have kids. You should abort your kids. You should gorge yourself until you're on the verge of death because you can be healthy at any size. And I'm just like, isn't it weird that all of these weird social things they advocate for just result in less people? Or is it just like, that's what they want?
Well, also, I'm going to be honest, and I don't know these people, but when I hear this, it generally strikes me as a post hoc rationalization. I think people choose not to have children for lifestyle reasons, and then they'll say something like, it's for the environment because they want to feel good about themselves. I don't really know anyone who like really, really wanted to have kids but went, I can't, it's for Mother Earth. Most people I know who say that probably weren't going to have kids or have many kids anyway.
I think the issue is these young millennial women who aren't having kids are femcells. Female incels or whatever. I mean, I guess incel works for women as well as it does for men. And I think they justify it by saying they're choosing this lifestyle. It's like sour grapes. It's like, well, I didn't want to have a kid anyway. And it's like, maybe it just didn't work out for you. So you retreat to the defensive position of, well, I didn't want it. So
yeah, I don't know, because I also know some like attractive married millennials that are not having kids, like, and just have no desire to do it.
Well, for sure. I'm not saying that every instance of a woman not having kids is rats. No, I think that there are probably many millennial women who it didn't work out for and then claim it was.
The problem with this not having kids to save the planet narrative is that you might choose not to have a kid, unfortunately, but you would have been a phenomenal parent, and that kid could have grown up and made groundbreaking technology that could have made the world so much better. And then you could be a terrible parent that has 10 kids or one kid that ends up being a deviant and a hostile individual. So it really doesn't matter how many, it matters the quality. How many does matter, but not as much as the quality of what exists.
Yeah, but if you have like 50 babies, you're bound to have one good one, right?
Odds are, I guess. I don't know.
It's an interesting point about it's almost like a rationalization that you're talking about, where if suppose that you didn't want to have kids because you didn't want to give up that much of yourself and of your time, and then you would think like, okay, well, does that make me selfish? And then you would invert it by saying, no, I'm not selfish at all. I'm actually doing the world big favor. I'm just actually being so nurturing here of the world by not having kids. So I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, I think that may be true for some of them, but I honestly think it's unfortunately that there actually might genuinely be women that would normally have just wanted to have kids, but they just can get brainwashed by the idea that the world is a terrible place, or that the world cannot support those children, and that makes me really sad.
Well, let's take it to the dark place, I suppose. If you advocate for abortion, you're less likely to have offspring. If you sterilize your kids, you're less likely to have your genes persist beyond them. If you gorge yourself and you're very, very unhealthy, you're also less likely to have kids. You're going to be unhealthy.
You'll die earlier.
Your genes will be removed from the future gene pool.
I went through from age 28 to 38, 24. I'm not having I'm not bringing a kid into this hellhole, this earth that's just falling apart. No way. And I started off saying it almost like a joke, and then I immediately started believing it. And I noticed people around me started saying it. And only in the last 3 or 4 years have I regained a will to live and a kind of a having faith that we can make it better. As hard as it is, and as dangerous and as destructive as things can be, that we can make it better. And so I'm much more open to the idea.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point, because I think it says a lot about the state of a person based on what they believe. It says a lot less about the world and a lot more about the person.
Yes, I'd given up on reality. I was black-pilled. I got way too much information on the internet in 2006 about the military-industrial complex, Monsanto, the pharmaceutical companies, all the lies, the media lies, and I was like, well, I mean, how could we ever dig out of this? We're buried. Like,
for me, I actually I felt similar. Like, you can't have kids because the climate and everything was bad, until I got on the internet and started diving into the deep rabbit holes of YouTube. And then I realized, because the earth is flat and actually on the back of a turtle,
that's
all of the climate change stuff doesn't matter. You should have as many kids as you can.
Kids
I like turtles.
When I was 17, I actually begged a doctor to give me a hysterectomy when I was 17.
I've heard a number of people say
funny.
similar things.
I would love to hear why you did it. I did it because I was convinced that I never wanted to have, children. I was just like, I don't want to have to mess with birth control my whole life. Like, just give me a hysterectomy.
Wow.
And I am so thankful that the doctor refused.
So I didn't want a hysterectomy, but I wanted my tubes tied when I was like 20. And the doctor was like, you are too young. And I was like, you're insane. I know exactly what I want. What are you talking about? And now, of course, I'm like, oh, I'm 30. Holy crap. I would really like to have kids. Let's go. Thank goodness that doctor didn't enable me.
Wow.
And now I look at these doctors giving, like, you know, puberty blockers to kids. I'm like, holy crap. It's so bad. It's bad. They're just like, you're too young. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I was. I had 5 siblings, and I was like, I feel like I've raised enough kids for my life. I'm good on that one. But now I'm like, yeah, I feel like it's really important, and these hard times are going to make strong people.
So what changed for you?
You know, I mean, I was only 17.
That's
you know
right.
what I
Yeah,
mean? So I think, you know, what changed is, I mean, my executive lobe matured, right?
Sure.
You know,
What's
like,
that?
which, you know, doesn't have, you're the executive lobe of your brain, like, which doesn't finish growing until you're like 25, you know? I was also in a very difficult place in my life. I had a kind of a crazy childhood and everything. I just don't think I had a good template in my mind, you know, for what that would look like. And then, you know, just through maturing and discovering that I could have good relationships and that seeing happy families and realizing that family life could be a lot of fun, it wasn't that big of a leap for me to be like, oh yes, motherhood.
It's wonderful that the doctor was actually concerned with you and your long-term interests rather than simply validating the choice you said you wanted to make at the time. I think it's very sad that as a society, affirmative care, exactly. We put so much emphasis on what a person says that they want in any particular moment that we don't even stop to think about their long-term well-being. And also, if someone at 17 says, I never ever want to have children, not because I want to do X, Y, and Z, or I don't think I'm called to marriage, but I just don't want to bring life into this world. I think that's serious cause for concern for someone to say, like, hey, what's going on? Like, why do you feel that way? A person is revealing that there's, as you mentioned, some kind of difficulty there that you were struggling with. And a person should care when they hear that and want to help intervene to lift the person, not give them surgeries.
Take a look at this opening paragraph from this article. They say, Gwyn McKellen was 26 when she decided to get sterilized. It took the recycling consultant 5 years to find the appropriate doctor under the public health plan she was on, but she was determined. You know, my only response is, if you are predisposed to sterilizing yourself, well, then it's a self-solving problem for everyone else, right? I'm not saying to be mean. It's like, if you don't want to have kids, your ideas die with you.
But here's the thing. I mean, even people with bad ideas can have good children, and we are literally below replacement right now. So it's actually bad for all of us when people
Okay,
don't have
Seamus,
kids.
have 4 kids.
I think I'm going to.
That's
four.
awesome.
Yeah, I want to have as many as possible once I'm married. Yeah.
50.
I think, look, if I'm talking about, I'm thinking
Nah,
I'm married
Seamus,
to
you're
one
Irish.
woman. I think I'm gonna be married to one woman. So this is interesting.
Do you know what Irish twins are?
No, yes,
I am an Irish
I'm
twin.
yes, no,
Yes.
absolutely.
Right,
I very much know an Irish twin. You know what I heard? I want to double check on this. Feel free to fact check this, but I heard that part of why it's generally the stereotype that Irish people have many children. It's not just because, you know, we're Irish Catholics. It's because women they're less likely to conceive when they're breastfeeding.
That's correct.
But for whatever reason, Irish women tend to be more likely to have a mutation where they still will conceive even while they are breastfeeding, which is why you have Irish twins and Irish
Gotta look
triplets
this up.
and Irish babies who are born one after another.
So for those that aren't
Potatoes.
familiar, Irish twins is basically when the woman gets pregnant almost immediately after she gives
That's
birth.
correct.
So you actually have siblings who are not a year older than each other.
Yeah, I was 13 months younger than my older sister, so my parents were not messing around.
Not quite Irish
Not
twins.
quite. Very close. Yeah,
But,
very close.
But it's like you'll have 2 kids and it's like, how old are you? I'm 10. And you? 10. Oh, you're twins. Well,
Nope.
we're 10 months apart. It's like, oh,
interesting.
not a year apart.
Is there data explaining why?
No, well, this is also why I said fact check. This is something I heard recently that I found interesting, and that's why I'm issuing the caveat to fact check this. I just thought it was a very interesting theory.
You know what we should do?
Because
We
but
should-
it is a
we should-
phenomenon, right? Like people constantly say, well, when you breastfeed, you will not get pregnant. But I actually know a number of like women who do have Irish twins who are Irish. Like it's fascinating, and that we call them Irish twins. I find that really interesting.
We should do exponential tax credits, child tax credits.
Yeah, like Hungary.
So like the first kid is as X, the second kid is X plus Y, the third kid is X plus Y squared or whatever.
The
I think
problem,
Iceland did that.
Hungary
Iceland
did it. Hungary did it.
Hungary?
the
Hungary.
problem is
Hungary,
having
yeah.
kids that you don't take care of just for money. Because
It's not for money, it's a tax credit. You're not getting money, you're paying less in taxes.
But like a bad parent, or that's vague, but like a parent that's vacant, that's off working and has like 5 kids, and they don't
Absent
instruct them on
parent,
what's
yeah.
good, and then the kids grow up and become villains. You know, that's a problem. I don't want to encourage that.
But we're not giving you money, it's a tax credit. So you're keeping more of the money you earn.
I just don't know if more is better. It's the quality of the unit.
If you have more than one child, you need that money. You need a tax credit. You need to keep more of the money that you earn. In fact, they know that one of the problems that children face when they're in a large family is that their parents aren't able to earn quite as much. This is one of the reasons I wrote about this. This is why dementia is higher in parents who have more than 3 children, because it's much more stressful to be able to work enough to give, for example, 6 children, like we're in my family, to be able to give them a stable home. And I still, to this day, don't understand how my family was a single income home. My mother was a stay-at-home mother, and I had 5 siblings. It's incredible to me. Like, you cannot duplicate that in this day and age.
You guys did a lot of sustainability, right, at the house?
No. We did have 5 acres, and we had cows and chickens and goats and stuff, but we weren't like a green family. We just were like culturally sound. We went to church. We followed traditional values. We were homeschooled, and my mother stayed at home. It was very interesting.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.